They have not said a word to you. And they have said everything to the universe. That silence you have been living inside, the one that kept you up at night, the one that made you wonder if you ever mattered to them at all. That silence was never what you thought it was. It was not cold. It was not careless. It was not the sound of someone who forgot about you. It was the sound of someone who went to the only place they felt safe enough to tell the truth. And that place was not in front of you. It was on their knees, in the dark, alone, speaking your name to something bigger than both of you. And what they said cannot be taken back. Let your body settle for a moment before you continue. What you are about to hear has been moving through silence and through time to reach you right here, right now. This is not something you found by accident. Your soul called this in, and now it is here. Welcome to Soul Signal. Subscribe now and turn on all notifications so you never miss when the universe has something to share with you. Before we go any further, I need you to understand something about the silence between you and this person. It was never empty, not for a single second. You felt it as absence. You felt it as rejection. You felt it as proof that what you shared was not enough. But their silence was full. It was heavy. It was carrying something they did not know how to bring to you. Something so big that the only place they could take it was up, above, to the universe itself. They made a promise about you. Not to your face. Not in a message. Not in a letter you will ever find. They made it in the only language their soul knew how to speak, and the universe heard every word. You do not know what they said. They have never told you. They may never tell you. But the universe does not forget. And what was spoken in that moment is still alive right now, still moving, still reaching toward you. Their silence was never empty. It was the loudest prayer of their life. If you have felt their silence but always sensed there was something behind it, type "the silence spoke" in the comments. Let the universe know that your heart was listening even when their mouth was not. Let me tell you what happened. Not the outside story, not the version that looks like someone walking away. The real story, the one that happened where no one could see. There was a moment. You do not know when it was. They may not even remember the exact second. But something inside them reached a point where it could not hold any more. Not pain, not sadness. Something deeper than both. The weight of knowing that they had you, that you were real, that what existed between you was the truest thing they had ever touched, and the terror of knowing they were not giving you what you deserved. Maybe it was standing in a grocery store when a smell passed through the air that reminded them of you, and their whole body stopped in the middle of an aisle full of strangers. Maybe it was sitting somewhere ordinary when someone laughed the way you laugh, and the sound hit them so hard they had to leave the room. Maybe it was the moment they said your name out loud for the first time in weeks, and the taste of it on their tongue cracked something they thought had healed. Maybe it happened on a night so quiet they could hear their own pulse, and every beat sounded like your name, wherever it was. That weight pressed down on them until their knees gave out. Not in front of you, not in front of anyone, in a place no one will ever see. And in that place, they did something they had never done before. They spoke to the universe about you. Not a wish, not a hope. Something heavier, a promise. The kind that comes out of your chest and not your mouth. The kind that leaves a mark on the air that does not fade. The kind that changes something in the shape of what comes next. And the universe stopped to listen. Because the universe always stops when a soul speaks the truth. Their silence was never empty. It was an offering. You might be wondering what they promised. I will tell you what I can. Not all of it. because some of it is still sealed between them and the sky. But I can tell you this: they did not ask for something small. They did not say, "Give them back to me." They did not bargain. They did not beg. What they said was bigger than that, harder than that. It cost them more than you will ever know. They promised something about your future, about your safety, about the kind of love you deserve. And they promised it knowing that the answer might not include them. That is the part that broke them. That is the part that kept them silent. Not because they did not care, because they cared so much that they handed you over to the only force they trusted more than themselves. And then they went quiet. Because what do you say to someone after you have already said everything to the sky? Press your fingertips together right now, all 10 of them. Hold them there. Feel the pressure between them. That pressure is the same force that exists between two souls who are connected by something older than this life. You can feel it because it has always been there. It does not need words. It does not need contact. It lives in the space between. Now let me tell you what your body has been trying to tell you. Those nights when you woke up for no reason. When the room was quiet, but something in your chest was not. When you felt a warmth that did not come from the blankets or the air. When something inside you went still for a moment, and it felt like someone somewhere was thinking about you so hard that their thought landed on your skin. That was not nothing. That was not your mind playing tricks. That was the echo of a promise made in secret reaching you through the dark. Their silence was never empty, and your body always knew it. Your gut has been telling you something for weeks, not in words, in feelings, in a pull, in something that keeps saying this silence is not what it looks like. And your gut was right. It has always been right about this person. Even when your mind tried to argue, even when the evidence said otherwise, something in the center of you refused to believe that their silence was the end, because it was not the end. It was the beginning of something they could only start by getting quiet. You were never wrong for feeling that, not once. Carl Jung once said that when two souls truly meet, both are changed forever. Neither one can go back to what they were before. That is what happened between you and this person. The meeting changed both of you. And the change cannot be undone, not by silence, not by distance, not by any promise made to the universe or any wall built on the ground. You are written into each other now. And what is written at that depth does not wash away. Type one word in the comments that describes what their silence felt like to you. Just one word. No explanation needed. Let the universe hold it. Now I need to tell you something about that promise and what it has been doing since the moment they spoke it. The universe doesn't hear a promise and then put it on a shelf. The universe hears a promise and turns it into motion, into signals, into shifts you can feel but cannot name, into small changes in the air between you and them that have been happening for weeks now. Maybe you have been waking at hours that do not make sense, not from noise, from a feeling. Maybe their face has appeared in your thoughts at moments so exact that you stopped calling it a coincidence. Maybe a number has been following you, on a clock, on a sign, in a place where it should not be. Maybe someone said something to you last week that sounded so much like what this person would have said that your whole body went still and you forgot to breathe for a second. Those are not random. Those are not your mind looking for patterns. Those are the echoes of a promise moving through time and space to reach you. The universe turns promises into signals, and you have been receiving them. Whether you knew it or not, their silence was never empty. It has been sending you messages this whole time, not through their phone, through the universe itself. And while their promise has been moving through the sky, something has been happening inside you too. Something you may not have noticed because it happened slowly. The way sunrise happens, not all at once, one shade at a time until the whole sky is different. You did not harden. You did not close. You did not become someone who stopped believing in what you felt. You did something harder than all of that. You learned to stand still in the middle of not knowing. You did not know why they went silent. You did not know if they were coming back. You did not know if tomorrow would feel different from today. And you kept going anyway. You kept waking up. You kept breathing. You kept putting one foot in front of the other without a single answer to hold on to. That is not a small thing, my dear. Most people cannot do that. Most people need the answer before they can move. You moved without one. And that movement built something inside you that is stronger than any promise anyone could make to any sky. You found your own ground. Not because someone gave it to you, because you refused to let the silence take it from you. Something in you settled, not hardened. Settled, like water that has finally found its level, like a tree that stopped growing up and started growing roots. That settling is the reason the universe is paying attention to you right now, not because you need to be rescued, because you became the kind of soul that the universe trusts with what comes next. Their silence was never empty, and your growth inside it was never invisible. The universe saw every step you took without a map. If you kept going even when their silence made you feel invisible, type "I kept going" in the comments. Those words are for the part of you that kept standing when everything said you should sit down. Now let me tell you something important. Their promise was not a weight placed on your shoulders. It was not a rope tied around your wrist. It was something they lifted up and handed to the sky. Not to you, to the sky. Their silence was never empty, but it was also never yours to carry. A promise made to the universe is between them and the sky. It floats somewhere above both of you. You did not ask for it. You did not even know it existed until right now. So you do not owe it anything. Not your time, not your patience, not a single night spent awake wondering when it will land. You are not the keeper of their promise. You are the reason it exists. And those are not the same thing. The universe does not want you standing still waiting for something that was spoken in someone else's darkness. Your soul came here to move, to expand, to become, not to freeze in place while someone else finishes a conversation with the sky. Your life is yours. Every second of it matters. Whether their promise arrives at your door tomorrow or never, you are still whole. You were whole before they made it. You will be whole no matter what it brings. But I know something else too. I know there were nights when none of this felt true. Nights when the silence was just silence. When you wondered if you made the whole thing up inside your head. When the ache sat so deep in your chest that no amount of meaning could soften it. When you thought maybe I was wrong about all of it. Maybe there was nothing behind the quiet. Maybe they just left. You were not wrong. Their silence was never empty, not even on the nights when it felt the most hollow, especially not on those nights. That promise did not disappear. It did not fade. It is still sitting in the place where it was spoken, sealed, waiting, not on a deadline, not on a schedule, in its own time. The universe does not rush the things that matter most. And right now, that promise is doing something to them that they cannot stop and cannot control. Maybe they are sitting across from someone right now and feeling the weight of what they promised pulling them somewhere else. Maybe they are laughing at something that is not really funny because the only sound that ever made them feel alive was your voice. Maybe they are lying awake tonight with two truths fighting inside them. The truth that they are not ready, and the truth that the promise they made does not care if they are ready or not. Because a promise made to the universe does not wait until you are comfortable. It waits until the universe decides it is time. And the universe has its own clock. And that clock is moving right now. They feel it. They feel the ground shifting under them. They feel the old excuses losing their grip. They feel something pulling them toward a direction they have been avoiding. And that direction has your name on it. They try to go through their days the way they always have. They try to fill the hours with things that have nothing to do with you. But the promise follows them. Into rooms, into conversations, into the quiet moments between one breath and the next. It sits on their chest, like a hand, pressing down gently, but never lifting. And every day that hand gets a little heavier, not to hurt them, to remind them that what they spoke into the universe is still waiting to be honored. But their timing is not your business. Their struggle is not your weight to carry. Their promise is theirs. Your life is yours. And the two can exist at the same time without one needing to wait for the other. If you have been carrying a strange mix of knowing and not knowing lately, knowing that something is real between you but not knowing what comes next, just let that mix sit inside you without trying to solve it. Not every question needs an answer right now. Some questions are better held than answered, and your ability to hold this one without breaking is proof that your soul is ready for whatever comes. Jung once said that those who keep looking outside themselves will only dream, but those who finally look inside will awaken. You stopped looking to them for your answers a long time ago. You started looking inside, and what you found there was not emptiness. It was not silence. It was you, the full version, the one that does not need someone else to confirm what it already knows. Type, promise heard, if you believe the universe keeps records of what the heart speaks in secret. Let those words mark this moment between you and the sky. Now I want to tell you something about what their promise actually was. Not the words. The words are sealed between them and the sky, but the shape of it, the weight of it, what it meant. They did not promise something selfish. That is the first thing you need to know. They did not say, bring them back to me. They did not say, make them love me again. They did not say, fix this so I get what I want. What they promised was something that cost them everything. They promised that if they could not give you the love you deserve, then they would ask the universe to make sure someone or something else would. They promised your happiness, even if it did not include them. They promised your safety, even if they were not the one standing beside you. They promised your peace, even if the price of that peace was their own. That is why they went silent. Not because they did not love you, because they loved you so much that they stepped back to let the universe decide if they were the right answer or not. And that kind of love does not make noise. That kind of love goes quiet. That kind of love kneels in the dark and offers you to something bigger, and then sits with the silence that follows. The silence you have been living in. The silence that felt like rejection. The silence that was never empty. The silence that was full of the hardest love a person can give. Most people will never love like that. Most people hold on too tight. Most people say, I want you, and mean I need you to fill the space inside me. But this person said something different to the universe. They said, I want what is best for them, even if it is not me. That sentence is the heaviest thing a human heart can carry, and they have been carrying it every day since they went silent. Their silence was never empty. It was a sacrifice you were never meant to see. And you. After all of that silence, after all of those nights wondering, after all of those moments where you almost reached out and then stopped, after everything, you are still here, still breathing, still whole, still carrying a light inside you that no amount of quiet could put out. You did not wait for them to give you permission to keep living. You did not sit in a corner counting the days since you last heard from them. You learned to sit inside the silence without drowning in it. You found a way to keep your heart open without leaving it unguarded. You kept going, not because you stopped caring, because you cared about yourself enough to keep moving. And that is the thing that matters most right now. Not what they promised to the universe, not when or how that promise will move. What matters is what you built while they were gone. What matters is who you became in the quiet. You became someone who does not need another person to tell them they are worth something. You became someone who can hold uncertainty without falling apart. You became someone whose peace comes from within and not from the sound of someone else finally speaking. You did not do this by shutting down. That is the part that matters. You did not go cold. You did not stop feeling. You did not build a wall and call it strength. You kept your heart open the whole time, through every quiet day, through every night that had no answers, through every moment where it would have been easier to stop caring. You kept caring, but you stopped letting that care destroy you. That is not something most people learn in a lifetime. You learned it inside their silence, and you learned it without anyone teaching you, without a guide, without a map, without someone holding your hand and telling you which way to walk. You found the path yourself, in the dark, and you are still on it. Wrap your arms around yourself right now, not as comfort, as recognition. Your body has been holding space for a promise it could not hear, but always felt. Let your arms tell your body that the waiting was not for nothing, that the quiet was not wasted, that every night you survived without answers was building something inside you that no answer could have built. Now hear this. Whatever happens between now and the moment that promise finds its way to your life, your job is not to wait for it. Your job is to keep being who you have become. Your job is to keep waking up, keep breathing, keep choosing yourself, keep building the life that feels like yours. Because whatever the universe sends you next, it will not arrive at the version of you that was waiting. It will arrive at the version of you that was living. And that version is who you are right now. The universe is moving something right now. You might feel it in the coming days. A change in the air, not the air around you, the air between you and them. That air has been getting warmer, softer, like something is about to pass through it. You cannot see it, but you can feel it. Like the way you feel rain coming before the first drop falls. That is the promise moving. Not on their schedule, not on yours, on the universe's. And the universe has never been late. Not once. Not for anything that was real. Maybe what is coming will not look like what you imagined. Maybe it will be softer, quieter, smaller than the big moment you pictured. Maybe it will be a message that says 3 words. Maybe it will be someone showing up with nothing prepared. No speech, no plan. Just the truth. The messy kind. The shaking kind. The kind that does not come out clean because it has been sealed away for too long. Or maybe what the universe sends will not come from them at all. Maybe it will come as something you did not expect. A door you did not know was there. A path you never considered. A feeling you did not know you were allowed to have. A peace so deep that the question of whether they come back or not stops being the loudest thing in your chest. Maybe the promise they made was never about bringing them back to you. Maybe it was about opening something in the universe that needed to be opened for your life to move forward. And maybe you will only understand that when you look back years from now and see that their silence was the beginning of everything that came next. Either way, you are ready. Because you have been getting ready this whole time, every quiet day, every night without answers, every morning you chose to get up anyway. That was all preparation. And you did not even know it. You were already living, already growing. already becoming something they will barely recognize when the time comes. And that is the thing about promises made to the universe. The universe does not just deliver them to the person they were made about. The universe also changes the person who made them, and the universe changes the person they were made for, both at the same time, both without asking, both in the silence. Their silence was never empty, and neither was yours. Whatever is meant for you will not ask you to guess, will not make you wonder in the dark, will not keep you up at night reading silence like a language you are trying to learn. What is meant for you will feel like breathing, the kind you do not have to think about, the kind that just happens because your body knows it is safe. And if one day they bring that promise to you in person, if one day they stand in front of you with everything they said to the sky now sitting on their tongue, your body will tell you what to do before your mind catches up. You will feel if what they carry is real, or if it is just fear dressed up as love. You will know the difference between someone who is scared of losing you and someone who has truly become ready to love you the way you deserve. Those are not the same thing. And you know that now. You learned that in the silence. You learned it the hard way. And what you learned cannot be unlearned. Whatever comes next, you do not shrink for it. You do not bend for it. You do not undo everything you built just because someone finally decided to speak. You meet it standing up, eyes open, heart open, but feet on your own ground. Before you go, type, "The silence was never empty" in the comments. Let those words be the truth you carry tonight. Their silence was never empty, and neither is what comes next. The promise they made is still alive. The universe is still holding it, and you are still the name written inside it. Whatever happens between now and the moment that promise finds its way to you, carry this with you. You were always worth a sacred promise. You were always worth someone going quiet just to speak your name to the sky. The universe heard them, and the universe hears you too. Share this with someone who has been living inside someone else's silence tonight, like this video, so the universe can deliver this message to every soul carrying this weight right now. Subscribe to Soul Signal and turn on all notifications so the next signal reaches you at the right moment. Until the next signal, my dear, let that be enough.